Welcome to This Morning on TVC News. I am Abosadi Adeniwadiremi. On the program today, focus is on developments in Rivers State, where lawmakers launched impeachment proceedings against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu. In the latest move, two members in the Rivers State Assembly have appealed to their colleagues to exercise restraint and seek an amicable resolution to the ongoing impeachment proceedings against the governor and his deputy. Silvanus Nwankwo, who is minority leader of the House representing Omoma State constituency, and Peter Abbey, representing the Gema State constituency, made the appeal while addressing journalists in Port Harcourt on Monday. They say their appeal is premised on numerous interventions from respected elders and leaders within and outside Rivers State who have called for restraint and reconciliation. Joining me to discuss the matter this morning is Somi Oranta, an author and political affairs analyst. He's here with me in the studio. Mr. Oranta, good morning and welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good morning to you.
And I must mention that...
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. I must mention that you're a son of the soil. And
yes, I am.
I see you dressed fully in that regalia.
Yeah, I am. Thank you.
All right, so as someone from Rivers State, of course, I mean, this matter should be very, dear to your heart. You sleep and wake up and hear about it. How do you feel about this back and forth with the whole impeachment, notice hanging somewhat on Governor Fubara's neck over the years?
Yeah, it's something that palpitates the heart. You begin to wonder. This is the first time has come, second time, and this is the third time. Third time this thing is coming up. So you begin to wonder: is the impeachment clause in the Constitution? What is it for? I thought it was supposed to be for something very serious. I mean, is it?
Would that mean that what is happening is not serious?
Of course, it's not. How will it, if it was that serious? Why will it come 3 times in less than 3 years? I mean, it's looking like something that is being used. The clause now is being used for political vendetta, political witch hunt, and all that. So it loses its taste. It becomes lackluster as it is, because it is supposed to be when there is a very serious infringement, to the Constitution. That is when you bring up that, clause and use it. And not for it to come and go. This is the third time. In one administration?
Lawmakers have actually raised a number of infringements. The Constitution. They've spoken about demolition of the Assembly complex. They have spoken about extra budgetary spending by the governor. They have spoken about the fact that he's withholding the funds for the Assembly Service Commission. They have equally spoken about the governor's refusal to obey the Supreme Court on the financial autonomy of the House and appointment of persons to occupy positions in government without screening and confirmation by the House.
You see, these issues, how and when did this whole issue come up? Because at the point where they came back, the moment the unfortunate emergency rule and the suspension that went with it, the moment it was lifted, the first thing they did as they came back from the suspension, before even the governor and the deputy could resume office, they held a plenary, and they gave orders to the governor. He should bring an appropriation bill that will cover the remaining period of the year, and then he must send in the commissioners, a list of appointees to the assembly. Before the governor, actually a day or 2 later, he now resumed.
But shouldn't that be the ideal thing? Are those not actions that the governor ought to take?
Okay. Is it now the job of the assembly to tell the executive when to bring in appropriation bill? I mean, the expenditures are supposed to be carried out by the executive. They know what the state needs, the needs of the state. How come is the legislature that is now prompting the governor, bring it for us? Then it seems like there's something else, that is pushing for. I mean, the reason for this action. But again, don't forget that during the emergency rule, In fact, before the emergency was declared in Rivers State, the governor had prepared a budget which he wanted to present to them, and they refused to take to sit. You know, and the governor made it open. He wrote them, he went there, and they locked him out. If you recall, when the emergency implementation came, declaration, they went on suspension. The sole administrator, Mr. Abbas, you know, decided to rework that budget, the appropriation, and then sent the bill to the president, who immediately transmitted it to the National Assembly, and it was screened and everything, and it was approved. It became a law. Now, they are supposed to, the governor, I mean, 1.4 trillion was approved. And that was just a few months before they were called back. The governor is still working with that. So why is it now something so important that they now decided that he must send in a new appropriation bill?
Well, the lawmakers said that the governor was spending, the executive was spending for something that
because
was
it's been budgeted already. It's been budgeted already. Or except they are saying that what the National Assembly did, I mean, does not hold water.
So you think that part, I mean, that allegation or that allegation of gross misconduct on that particular case is faulty on their part?
Very, 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 very faulty. So I think. And you look at it, I mean, logically so, because it is the executive that is supposed to know if they need funds. It's them that knows what they need to do. And it's not the job of the legislature to start prompting the executive, bring budget, let's approve, let's approve.
But also, Mr. Ranta, you know that the lawmakers represent their constituents, and they are supposed to be the voice or the voices now of their people. So what if they just feel that my constituents are requesting this? I need the governor to make this presentation so we can execute this project for my people. I'm
glad to hear this. Are they really listening to their constituents? Because if they are, they will know that the part they are working on, I mean, their constituents are quite against it.
All of the constituents?
Well, the majority of their constituents.
Because now 26 members signed the impeachment notice against the governor and his deputy. You know something? I'm sure that we'll get to a point in Nigeria where people who bring up themselves to seek for elective office or offices will be able to, I mean, they will be men and women of integrity, of, you know, good reputation. Because you don't expect people to say they are representing people and they're just acting like a kind of puppet. Then the puppeteer is somewhere else and is remote controlling them. Because I also understand that the minister of the FCT was there in the assembly hall that day. Well, we haven't really, or I personally have not seen any maybe video documentation of that. Have you? Are you privy to any of
I'm
such?
from that state. I just came back. I was in Rivers State. I just came back, you know, last week. So I know what I'm saying. So you look, people should be able to have their own, exercise their will. That's what they were voted in by their people, because the people felt that you will represent us, you give us quality representation, and not to dance to the whims and caprices of someone else. You know, some forces, you know, extraneous, moving you to act.
But quality representation would also entail keeping a check on the executive, isn't it?
Certainly, most certainly.
And isn't that what they're doing?
You see, it would have been nice if they are doing it of their own volition, but to be acting on the promptings of someone else, you know, who has, some grounds, some perceived grounds to settle or scores to settle. That's what makes the impeachment clause, the way it's being used now, as something that has lost its value. You know, people begin to see, why do you? Because in the life of an administration, you cannot use this clause. You just keep using it, bring it, take it. I mean, it's not. We are not talking about child's play here. It's not a. We are supposed to be having people who are adults, who are reasonable men, reputable men, who are representing their people. And the people are not happy with what they are doing.
But when you say the people are not happy with what they're doing, I perceive that is ambiguous, because then we would need to sample the opinions of people in Rivers State to actually confirm what their opinion is about what is going on.
But I am from Rivers State.
Yeah, but you're one person from one local government in Rivers State.
Yeah, but you know why I'm saying this is that when Mr. Rotimi Amechi was governor, he moved to APC. Rivers people refused to follow him. The FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, moved, I mean, he did the election. Rivers people vehemently got to oppose, I mean, they opposed the manipulation that led to, you know, APC's winning the presidency in Rivers State. Because all from 1999, Rivers State, as much as many other South states, have been PDP stronghold.
But have there not been cases of, I mean, states becoming swinging? I mean, the vote swinging between parties.
I'm telling you that Rivers State has been all out PDP states before now. So when he moved, Rivers people say, no, this is not what, it's not our vote. There was a lot of issues, you know. But eventually, do you know that the moment the governor, Fubara, declared for APC, Rivers people are clapping, say, for your sake, we'll follow you. You see, Nigerians are very, very easy to please. When the Nigerian people, the masses of our people, the citizens, see that the leadership has can just spare some thought for them. The moment they know, they come to know that you are thinking about them, that you mean something to them, the moment that happens, you see them follow you. That's what is happening. The organic followership Fubara is having in Rivers State is unheard of. So that's what I'm saying, that the people, if these guys were actually representing their constituencies, they would have known that the path they are taking is a path that will lead to nowhere and is against the interest of their people.
So you think the people of Rivers State are solidly behind Governor Fubara?
I'm telling you, see, all this, the past couple of weeks and days, where the FCT minister and his men were going around, they are trying to show, it's a show of force that, look, we are still around, we are still on ground. But let me tell you, if you are a manager in an office, and you have to come to tell your subordinate that, look, don't you know I'm the manager, that means something is missing.
But this man, the FCT minister, is known to do these tours, to organize these tours, visit these people, speak to them.
No,
hasn't that been
the trend? What is thank you visit all about? What is it thanking them? To the point that the FCT minister had to go visit. Let me even take one person, for example, Asare Dokubo. He went there and he had to stand and he was talking. And Asare was seated on his throne. And he had to explain himself, after which he sat down. And Asare sat and addressed him. Don't forget, I'm coming.
Mr. Ranti, we'll talk about what Asare Dokubo said. Yes. But let's quickly take this call. And it's Samson calling us from Irewolide. Good morning, Samson. Welcome to the program. Joshua, thank you, Joshua.
Good morning. I greet you and I greet your guests this morning. I just have to find a way to tone down my comment this morning. I'm not happy with your guests at all, in the sense that, you see, we need to ask ourselves what is right about Rivers State. What is right? Before apportioning blames. This man just came and is just talking from one side of the issue and pouring fuel into an already burning fire. What is it for? You see, the governor for me is not a child. He's not a baby that anybody should be defending. And neither are the actors, the major actors in Rivers State. They are not children, they are adults. So we who are third party should be able to find out what's the right thing in Rivers State. What is the right thing is that the legislature is an arm of government, which your guest doesn't even realize. It's an arm of government. That arm of government has a constitutional role to play. Nobody can take that role from them. They were voted in the same way the governor was voted in. So what gives the governor the power to turn them to his children, to be talking down on them, and not to even respect them? What gives the governor the power? Because everybody keeps talking about Wike. What is Wike? Wike is a minister in Abuja. He was the former governor. The responsibility falls on the table of the governor to govern his state. And he is an executive governor. He has an arm of government. The legislatures are an arm of government. There is the judiciary. If the governor is usurping the role of the legislator, what are they there to do? Please ask your guests. What are the legislatures there to do? He's talking about the executive is to spend money that is meant to be appropriated by the legislatures. The legislature is an arm of government. The governor should allow them to perform. As he's performing. Once the state of emergency was lifted, what stopped him from going to the House to present the budget as a democratic budget? That because he is condemning the state of emergency and claiming that the legislature should accept what was decreed during that state of emergency. So are the legislatures meant to be rubber stamps? They are meant not to exist in Rivers State. Where did he get that kind of government structure from that is advocating to us? If he's coming to speak in favor of the governor, it should be balanced and not just come and be insulting people. And Nigerians, we are white. And the Rivers State is part of Nigeria. It's not in isolation. If there is fire in Rivers State, it will affect all of us. We want peace in that state. And it is the governor that should ensure the peace by allowing the legislature to function.
One peace in Rivers State. Joshua, I sincerely appreciate you for your contribution on the program today. All right. So Joshua wants you to be balanced in your perspectives, in your analysis of what is happening in Rivers State. But if we talk about this impeachment notice now, the latest we're hearing is that some 2 lawmakers, 2 out of the 26 who signed that notice, are now appealing to their colleagues to exercise restraint and exercise restraint in going about it. So do you think they're speaking for just themselves or for the House?
I don't know who they are speaking for, but I think we've all heard what they said. But the thing is, like the man, Mr. Joshua, that I just called now, we cannot, I may not have approved as an individual the emergency rule in Rivers State, but even the court has said it is in order and that the president exercises his prerogative. We'll take it that way. And every actions of governance that took place during that emergency period, I mean, is okay because you cannot change it. So except they are saying that what the legislature, the federal legislature did is null and void. They shouldn't come and have the issue with the governor. But let me tell you, let's stop beating about the bush and all that. Let's look at the real elephant in the room. The thing is that when they moved, they had moved earlier on. They said they didn't move, they didn't move. Then after the emergency declaration, they came back. They now decided to move officially now to the APC. And you see, they do not have the monopoly of cross-carpeting, of defecting or defection. When eventually the governor did, and the APC national and all the executive decided that the governor must be given a membership card, he was welcomed. He was taken to the president, who all saw it on TV. And the governor, when the party chairman in Rivers State brought a card and gave to the governor, bearing 001, the first citizen of that party in the state. And someone else is saying that, look, there is nothing like 001, that he can never be the leader of the party in the state. But you see, when I was traveling home on 30th of December, I saw the FCT minister coming from Eleme, where he went on this same thank you visit. Well, one will actually wonder, what is he thanking them? How many months ago there was the election, local government election, held? But he was coming back, and I saw him. He has 001, FCT 001. So the question is he now to take the 001 of FCT and the same thing in River State? So
he's not a member of the APC. Well, as we know.
Yes, of course, he's not. And that's what the APC members are saying. You are not a member of our party. This is the structure of our party. Let it be. And he picked quarrels with everybody that says, if you just say a word that goes against him, he pick quarrel with you. And then he will start revealing some things, which, look, let me tell you something. If Nigeria wants to practice democracy, we have to really decide if we want democracy. Because this issue of democracy, where one person will own everything, does not hold water in a democratic setting. Because how could the FCT minister come and tell the whole world that he bought funds for everybody? That is state capture. And he has confessed it. It's open there. It's there in the open. How come nobody has called him to question?
And then also, the FCT minister talks about the fact, and others really have said, including the lawmakers actually, that there was an agreement that was signed, and that the governor has not been abiding by the conditions on that agreement.
What agreement would that be? Is it the agreement that will ask a governor not to decamp, not to seek for second term, not to attend fake meeting, not to nominate local government chairmen, not to nominate commissioners? Everything. Look, that agreement can only be observed in the breach.
We'll talk about the deal. We'll talk about that agreement in just a moment. But let's please listen to Ada, who is calling from Jos in Plateau State.
Yes, so Ada.
Good morning, Ada. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, both of you and your guests.
Thank you.
Let me tell you something. This issue of the River State, for me, it has gone beyond the River State issue. We must have to dismantle this systemic godfatherism that is the devil in the politics in Nigeria. That is the crux of the matter. You understand now? The very dirty godfatherism. It's not even mentorship, if you ask me. That is the problem. But my happiness now is that now that he has gone into fully defected into that is the APC, I don't think that impeachment will stand. In the first place, when he was in PDP, even though he was working for APC, which he even said by himself because of the agreements, whatever agreements with his godfather, whatever, they were not able to carry out the impeachment. President Tinubu, stepped in. Is it now that it is fully in APC? And APC is very organized when it comes to such issues. And Tinubu, our President Tinubu, is a strategist. I don't think he will allow it to happen. I don't know what is happening. Some people get carried away and start saying, which kind of democracy is this? Are we in a banana republic where one man will just be the person, all over, going for thank you, whatever, all sponsored, whatever, then they say all kinds of things. Nobody calls him to order, it's not possible. They cannot do it in APC. That is what I know. So my happiness is that the president will not allow it to happen. There should be some orderliness in madness, if at all there is madness in the whole thing. What the hell? What kind of democracy are we practicing? All this, let's not give Nigeria, to get better.
In Plateau State. Thank you very much, Ada, for your contribution. So before Ada called, we're talking about, the agreement, because oftentimes we hear reference being made that there was an agreement. You are not abiding by the agreement. You are going against the agreement, and that appears to have been a major bone of contention.
Let the FCT minister bring up that agreement.
The governor can as well do that, or any other person that was privy to that.
I don't know. But
I'm saying that because you're specifically mentioning the FCT minister.
Yes. Well, the governor can. But the governor is a very quiet person, if you notice. You see, why all these things is happening in River State, and I'm thankful to God that it is like this. If the governor is as boisterous as volatile as the FCT minister, maybe the president would have been compelled to declare another second state of emergency in the state. Because nobody, he's not the FCT minister is not the first person to become FCT minister in Nigeria. For you to be going around the whole state, the whole local government, doing all the things he's been doing, the governor just stayed quiet.
But should it bother the governor that the FCT minister is visiting local government? He was once their governor, 2 terms, and don't you think he's just going back, to see them?
To tell them, thank you for allowing me to be your governor.
So why should his action, his freedom of association
what about
and
the
people
things he say?
be
What about the things he say? As he's going, he's saying things and all that. So, but the governor is cool-headed. So thank God, that is one good thing about the fact that Rivers State is blessed to have a man who is not moved by, in fact, he has learned how to be still in the midst of madness. Otherwise, if this person is doing, assuming that the governor decides to also go do thank you visit, maybe he goes to one local government, then the governor also say, let me go to that local government. Or maybe as he's bringing his own, there'll be clashes, and the state would have, degenerated into something else. But 2 people cannot do it all at once. So it's good that one person is calm, the other one is. But the truth of the matter is that these are the things. This godfatherism, like that last caller was saying, Ada, is the same thing that the FCT minister criticized so severely when it was between Senator Shomole, former governor of Edo State, and Obaseki. He criticized it so severely, and he did not only criticize, he went in there to ensure that he broke the ranks of godfatherism in Edo State. He also, when Ambode case in Lagos State came up to, he said all sorts of things, but everything he said, he has gone around 360 degrees, doing the same thing, even worse.
We have Yakubu calling from Dokwemo. Let's quickly hear him. Good morning and welcome to the program, Yakubu. All right, we lost connection with Yakubu there. So we're talking about the tours.
Yes. So, you see, we should be careful what to say, because some things to say is recorded. The internet records everything. Even when we've forgotten about it, even the records may have gotten burnt, but it's in the cloud. Someone that goes to the internet, he will bring up those things. And you realize that the things he has said, what makes a man? There are people, look at, for example, let me give you an example. The great Abameda fella, some of the things fella said 40 years ago are so real, it's resonating with us as if it's happening today. But look at politicians. They say something today, next year, those things, you see them go round 360 degrees, just like what I'm talking about now. The things he criticizes others about, he's doing it in the worst type of it.
When you talk about politicians, you know that everyone who is a politician is actually involved, because it's on record for instance, that the governor, at some point during that emergency rule did mention that he's not even interested in the seats. He's not interested. Like, couldn't you see how he looked? He looks better. He looks better than, when he was faced with the hassles of the job. But now he's there and the team is talking about impeaching him, and he seems not to be comfortable with it. So isn't that also about the 360 degrees you're talking about?
Yes, but you can see that the man is unfazed by the whole action. Did you see him, get rattled?
Could that be as a result of some sort of backing?
I don't know. Anything could have been the reason. But there is no desperation. That's what I'm saying. Because if he was desperate, he would take, preemptive actions to counter what his supposed godfather is doing.
After a long stay in the PDP, Governor Fubara moved to the APC. I know a number of people, there mixed reactions following that. You, as a person, how did you feel about his move?
You see, the fact of the matter is that not just me, Rivers people have been PDP. But when we have a governor who is thinking of the people, who is people focused, Rivers people say, look, anywhere you go to, we'll go with you. And that is, for so far as the governor is concerned, anywhere he goes to, we'll go with him. That's everything.
We have a caller from Ado-Ekiti in Ekiti State. Bayo, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Abosede.
Good
I'm
morning.
speaking from Abbey.
All right, let's have your contribution, please.
Yeah, I want to, your guest, I want to greet you and your guest. Yeah. One thing I want to say is that as Nigerians, we should be able to differentiate between individuals and institutions. The House of Assembly is an institution saddled with certain responsibilities. The governor is an institution and they saddled with certain responsibilities. These two should respect each other. Saying that a budget is always for a 1 year period from January to December. Remember, before the invocation of emergency, there was no budget, approved budget in Rivers State. The budget was there to be presented. And it was the budget that that draft budget that the administrator worked on and submitted to the president, which was passed by the National Assembly. So it is from January 2025 to December 2025. By the tenets of the Constitution, before the expiration of that year, before 31st December, the government is supposed to present the 2026 appropriation bill to the House of Assembly, which is not due. So, saying that, appropriation is a cardinal function of the National Assembly. So, I don't understand where your guest is coming from that is modulating. Some of these things has nothing to do with Minister Wike. They have to do with the governor as the chief executive and the House of Assembly as legislature. Let us understand these things. Forget about Wike. If the governor has presented the appropriation to the Assembly, we won't be talking about Wike. And for the records, I watched CBC. Wike was not in the Assembly in the morning of that day when the impeachment notice was raised. He was never in the Assembly. So if anybody is coming on national television, let them call with good mind. Let them come and tell us the truth, not false, not lie.
All right, Bayo.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us. Well, Mr. Ranta and viewers at home, we need to take a break now. When we come back from that break, we'll continue this conversation and we'll have another person join us as we further x-ray these developments in Rivers State following that impeachment proceedings against the Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy Ngozi Odu. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us this morning. We are talking about Rivers State and developments from there. The Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy have been, lawmakers have begun impeachment proceedings against the Jew, and that matter has been on since the 8th of January, and that is what we are talking about. My guest is Somi Oranta. Mr. Oranta, as we mentioned earlier, two lawmakers, are calling for restraint among their colleagues. And then I'm just curious, do you suppose that their appeal might be effective in changing the minds of the lawmakers?
I think it will go a long way. It will go a long way. And I also, I suspect that more will also move into their own camp, asking the rest to sheath their sword. You see, there can never be peace and development in any place. There can never be development in any society if there is no peace. So Rivers State needs peace for development to actually get to the people. Because it is this issue of every now and then this rough kind of governance is not good for any state, any society.
How optimistic? Yeah. Okay. So what?
Yeah. So I believe, I hope that they will be able to resolve the issues.
You sound quite optimistic because the chairman of the Rivers State Assembly Committee on Information, Enemy George, had insisted that the only thing that can change the minds of the lawmakers is if the Constitution is changed or reworked. Like, if it's changed, that is the only thing. So don't you think that this appeal by these two lawmakers is actually dead on arrival?
Let me tell you what I feel. Let me be frank with you. What I feel is that if the FCT minister has succeeded in putting Abuja in his pocket, he now put Rivers State in his pocket, and then he put PDP in his pocket. If he can afford to put APC in his pocket too, by directing from outside, directing the legislators to impeach the governor, if that can happen, then it will go into the World Guinness Book of Records that one man is able to have all these people, all these institutions in his pocket. So
when you talk about putting them in his pocket, that sounds ambiguous. And in this case, the lawmakers have been said to be doing their job. Well, is that not what they have said? Or did you or for the names now that signed that petition, did you see the name of the FCT minister? Did you see Nyesom Wike?
We know what's happened from the behind the scene now. We know the hand, that is pushing. These people are just doing the bidding of one man. None of them got angry when the governor came into APC. Is the man who says you cannot be the party leader of the state. That cannot be. Is the one who said that there is no 001 in Rivers State. Is the one that is pushing for this whole thing. So he's the person behind it. So, and it's obvious, since he bought forms for everybody in Rivers State, that went for elective position, since Nigerian, institutions are all blinded to the fact that this is happening and it's against the tenets of democracy and want to have it, allow it, pass, then let him hold Rivers State in his pocket. He has also done the same thing to PDP. Abuja, of course, is his stuff. He is the FCT minister, 001 FCT. So if he can also manage to do the same thing for to APC against the feelings, against the instructions and plans of, the concern of the APC, if you can do that, then let it happen.
Mr. Ranta, the FCT minister, I would say again, is not a member of the APC. I do not know if you have seen any documents detailing his name.
He's been told so by APC members.
Register.
I said he's been told so by APC members.
Because when you talk about having all of these bodies in his pocket, what evidence do you have to support that?
What evidence are you looking for? The man told you that he bought form for everybody that went for elective position in Rivers State, from local government, councillors to the governor.
So why did those people agree, for forms to be bought for them? And I don't suppose know. That would also include the governor.
He bought for everybody, including governor, everybody. So that means he has the state in his pocket. PDP, we are all here. We are Nigerians now. We saw how PDP is in his pocket.
But what, did he instigate or initiate the challenges or the problem that the PDP is facing? Was Nyesom Wike the one who told the party not to choose a southerner for a presidential candidate in 2023?
Look, let's not go.
But if we may talk about that briefly, okay. Did he support that the party should not get a candidate from the South in 2023?
Well, I think what he needed to do, when he couldn't get it, he decided to, go haywire. That is just the truth of the matter.
Let's get a caller. Oroma is calling us from Delta State. Good morning, Oroma. Welcome to the program.
Okay, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Please, I want to make a contribution into the matter. Hello?
Yes, Oroma, we can hear
Hello?
you. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Oroma, please speak.
Hello?
Oroma, are you still there, please?
I'm still here.
Okay, let's have your contribution, please.
I'm hearing you. Please, one thing you will know in life is this. Anyone who even siding Fubara, just say that person that is the person that you can never even do business with at all.
How do you mean?
That is the truth. Listen, any politicians, he wants to have the followers. Just to the way that man has said in that place that he bought from the other thing. The time the Wiki was buying a fund to them, that man that is even that place, he didn't contribute anything. He did not. For coming to that station and say maybe one man want to take over everywhere. It's any politicians, everybody has his own way of doing things. Even the thing that they bring the fight between them. They say it's the power of a kubet of say who want to be a speaker. Who they already put his speaker, he make his own way to want to put his own speaker. That's where the fight starts. What I expect from that is this. Mostly maybe it's your people, other people. You should call. Let who do wrong, let he accept his wrong. I call them to order. Settle them that maybe say that maybe APC will come in this. It's just the way people are talking. Every assembly has its own way. You can also maybe just the way the House of Assembly said that the job in the impeachment. Say in Christmas period you are giving 100,000 to each one, which they say they return back. Let's be sincere with ourselves. Not that way they are raising impeachments for that time one person will come, okay, Fubara. There's nobody sent. If Fubara is sent, just the way he said that he's even tired of being a governor, he could have resigned. He has his own way of making his own money there. So the best of it, the way that man is talking there, is not talking good. Because those are the type of people, just the way he had then, if it is a manager in a company, and there is that if even managing with a head, they remove him to put that person there, we will be happy.
All right, Oroma, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us on this morning. All right, where were we before Oroma called?
I can't recall.
I know we're talking about, okay, somehow we're talking about the issues, in the PDP, and I, for one, was asking, whether the FCT minister directly influenced the PDP from going with the perceived gentleman's agreement that is perhaps not written, but, just on the lips of people. The fact that perhaps you have a region, provide, have the presidency. There's rotation somewhat for 8 years, and then it goes to the other side. The PDP failed to do that, and that was like a natural, what now? It was in a natural bomb, and it imploded. Isn't that what happened?
Okay. So for that, he will ensure to see that the burial of the party. He should be the executioner.
Is that what he's doing?
That's what he's doing, because you can see that everything, even the G5 group, the so-called integrity group, that integrity group, or is it integrity? They have gone, they've gone their different ways because of one man's ambition. You see, people, when you want to get something done and you don't get it the way you want it, some people have the tendency to just say, let's scatter everything. But that's not the way to go. If you don't get what you want, we don't have to scatter the whole thing, because you may come back to need it again tomorrow.
The FCT minister has mentioned that, for instance, he is not holding down the party for the president or for the governing party. He has mentioned that over time.
What his friend and ally, the governor of Oyo State, what did he say?
And what was his own response?
I don't know what his response.
I've just told you his response. He said that he's not holding the party down. He's not holding the party down.
But he's doing it. We are seeing the thing happening. We are seeing it happening. He may be denying it. We are seeing it happening. Just like what's happening in Rivers State now. We are seeing, actions being taken, as a response to somebody's comments and actions. So you see, these are chain reactions. So we want our legislators to man up and be their own men. and represent their people. Go back, okay, let them go back to their people and ask, what should I do? What's your view?
Remember, they were with their people, and they actually convened that it was like an emergency sitting, what they had that day, that they launched the impeachment proceedings. But then let's talk about some of the interventions that are coming. Remember that the Messrs. Nwankwo and Abbey actually said that they appeal to their colleagues to exercise restraint is based on interventions from respected elders and leaders within and outside Rivers State who are calling for restraint and reconciliation. And then we know that PANDEF has actually inaugurated a 7-member panel, peace committee to intervene and resolve the standoff between the governor and his deputy. What is your take about their own move to restore peace?
The governor and the assembly.
And the assembly, rather.
Okay, yeah. You see, what PANDEF are trying to do is a good one. Okay,
just before you respond to that, may we take Daniel? He's calling from Rivers.
All right.
Daniel, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, please, and peace to all of you. You see, it's funny that people will call to make comments even while they don't stay in Rivers State. It is very funny because the governor, or the former governor, has clearly affirmed that he was not going to back down unless he removes the governor. For whatever agreement people are making reference to, the people of Rivers State are not aware where they made this agreement. The people are not aware. Are you going to be making agreement with the people's resources, the people of Rivers State? Before now, I never knew that I could be in this party A and I am working for party B. I never knew that both two parties could even contest election in the country. I used to see it as anti-party when the party had discipline. And for people to call even to abuse the man there, I was thinking that you would have called them to order. Because the man is stating what he is experiencing in his state. And somebody from Ogun or any other place is now claiming otherwise. The lawmakers, for God's sake, are people we grew up together with. They are all in Rivers State. They are practicing their politics in Rivers State. How can you tell us A in the morning? In the evening, you're telling us B. Those days when we were growing, they used to say, you cannot hold this man with his word. You cannot be trusted. The former minister, a man I respected, or I used to respect a lot, was attacking other governors, other states, where they were, so to say, practicing godfatherism. And today, he is swearing and doing thanksgiving in every local government, making the states ungovernable for the governor. I am expecting that Mr. President will call him to order because they are all abusing Mr. President. Mr. President has made peace for Rivers people, called in emergency rule. The Rivers State people, while trying to settle down to see whether they will gain the dividends of democracy, they are now troubling the waters again to make sure that there is insecurity in Rivers State. We don't understand. When will Rivers State people begin to enjoy dividends of democracy, for God's sake?
That's a critical question, Daniel, and we sincerely appreciate you for sharing your thoughts with us on the program. And really, that is where we would, wrap up the conversation about what is the way forward, whether or not this impeachment move goes through. How do we ensure that residents of Rivers State get the dividends of democracy? Because they should be what matters most.
Yes, that's a good one. You see, from the various points raised, or points of misconduct raised by the assembly, and the agreement, so-called agreement, there is none that concerns the people of Rivers State. Let me tell you, Rivers State, we are not on the shelf. We are not like commodities put on the shelf for someone to come and price and pack and take away. And you cannot be making agreements without the people's consent. What leadership is supposed to be, or representation, is to carry the people's opinion, aggregate their thoughts, and then actualize it. So whatever they are doing, I will urge them, everybody, both the governor, the minister, and his boys, to think of the people of Rivers State. That is primary. And then find out what do the people want. Because if you are wasting your energy, going back and forth without knowing what the people want, you will not solve the problem. But the truth of the matter remains that Rivers State must develop and we must move ahead. And we need peace in that state. When you finish your role, you should quit the stage and let others play their own role. You cannot continue to remain there and create issues. I'm saying, because I'm a Rivers person, I know what I'm talking about. I don't have to say everything here.
All right, Mr. Oranta. So let's hope that the Rivers people are able to, their lives get better, because that is what is paramount. And then ears are open to see how these impeachment proceedings play out in Rivers State. We were meant to have join us on the program a lawyer and political affairs analyst to join you for the conversation, but unfortunately he was unable to make it. But then it's been good talking to you. Somi Oranta is an author and political affairs analyst. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that's our show for today. We thank you for watching. Our repeat broadcast is at 4 a.m. I am Abosede Adeniwa Duremi, wishing you a very productive